Good morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Taylor Stephenson here on the Weather Desk with you. The Weather Desk is a Monday through Friday show airing at 9 a.m. on 13 News Now Plus, where we break down and talk in detail about the biggest weather headlines. And usually that comes from the United States, but also it can come from around the world. But over the past few days, we have been talking about something close to home, which is that huge nor'easter. And we'll talk more about that coming up today. But again, 13 News Now Plus, we have this every Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. So let's go ahead and get into the nitty gritty of what I'm talking about for today. Snow, and of course, more snow. From Cali to Delaware to New York, we're going to be talking about snow, and we even got some here in Hampton Roads, where places around Accomack County have issued a local state of emergency where warming shelters are now opened up. So we will be seeing some images from the West Coast to the East Coast. Then we're going to take it all the way into the furthest west state and also the most southern state of the United States, Hawaii, where they are dealing with flooding. Then we'll take it off of Earth, go all the way up into space, and we'll speak about one of my favorite planets, Saturn, and we'll also talk about some planetary and celestial events going on that will be in the near future that you could see at home. And then for those who live in Hampton Roads, I'll give you your local forecast of what to expect for the rest of this work week. I have good news. After a really cold start to the week, I am tracking some warmer temperatures for the midweek. Now, first things first, right now, the Northeast is dealing with the aftermath of a bomb cyclone blizzard. That means that the pressure in that system dropped dramatically over the course of 24 hours. This system has dumped several feet of snow across multiple states. This is a look at the conditions in Central Park and in Times Square in New York City. As of Monday afternoon, Central Park recorded nearly 20 inches of snow, which ranks among the top 10 snowiest since 1869. With the aftermath of a bomb cyclone blizzard, that system also set snowfall records in New York, New Jersey, Providence, Rhode Island, and other places around the Northeast. ABC's Lionel Moise has a closer look.
The historic blizzard that paralyzed the Northeast finally winding down, but not before leaving behind massive snow totals and creating dangerous conditions across the region. The so-called bomb cyclone dumping more than 3 feet of snow in parts of Rhode Island, setting a new record.
The blizzard of 26 has now officially surpassed the blizzard of 78 for the most snow ever recorded in a single snowstorm in our Rhode Island state history.
More than 30 inches falling throughout hard-hit Massachusetts. Officials say it could be days before electricity is restored to the more than 250,000 customers in the state without power. In New Jersey, trees crashing down onto utility lines, leaving many in the dark.
You either got to get our power on or plow, because we don't want to sleep here tonight.
In New York City, trees buckling under the weight of the heavy snow. On Long Island, winds topping 80 miles per hour, creating whiteout conditions, making driving treacherous. Outside Boston, cars sliding down roads, others stuck along the highway. Even plow trucks struggled. At times, conditions were so severe, cleanup operations had to be paused. The storm also bringing air travel to a halt. Snow burying runways and grounding thousands of flights. Airlines warning it could take days to fully recover.
You can't see anything because I can't see anything. It is a total whiteout. Right now, no planes are taking off or landing.
And as people begin digging out, some are taking advantage of the snow-covered streets. One man in Rhode Island strapped on his snowboard to go riding through the neighborhood. More snow is expected across the region tonight and later this week, but temps are expected to remain above freezing, which will definitely help melt all of that snow. Lionel Moise, ABC News, New York.
And he was talking about last night, and now again another system is eyeing down the Northeast for another round of snow that could bring some snow on Wednesday into Thursday. The same system that's going to bring us rainfall on Thursday. So all this is connected, but as you know, the Northeast knows how to deal with snow. I've already seen images of New York City, and streets are completely plowed and cleared after one day of 20 inches of snow. Pretty impressive. Okay, so we're going to go over some of the newer storm reports we got, because remember yesterday morning we had multiple is not even a great word, a slew of storm reports. There were so many we couldn't even make out some of the names of the cities on our map. Now we have some new ones just because the storm did impact the extreme northeast overnight. So we have some areas around Massachusetts and Maine that I want to show you. This is from the the eastern parts of Massachusetts, and you can see that they reported 17.5 inches of snow, which is basically almost a foot and a half of snow, and that came in around 8:44 p.m. last night from a trained spotter. We're going to take it all the way up into Seawall City. That is Seawall. That's a city in Maine where they recorded 7.5 inches of snowfall last night. A lot of these storm reports will be updated as people continue to wake up this morning. So expect some of these totals to be a bit higher, but you can see the snow obviously impacting Maine and now into portions of Canada. Now we're going to take it down to Delaware, where a little further south, Maryland and Delaware both have been dealing with impacts from this storm. Check this out. This is a look at the snow in Ocean City. If we can get that pulled up real quick. There you go. So you can see the beach and the boardwalk there are totally covered in snow. You can even hear the snow coming down with the winds there, and with snow on the sand on the beach, just like it was a year ago here in Virginia Beach. And in Delaware, the snow is on the road, is frozen now, causing issues for drivers. Brandon Ferguson reports.
DelDOT plowing and treating coastal highway after massive snowfall.
Way over a foot.
On Route 1 and roads just off the highway like Savannah Road, cars abandoned in the snow. Trucks stuck.
A lot of cars in the ditches.
Even a tractor trailer getting stuck caused Nassau Bridge to be backed up Monday morning. Mike Iori says trucks like his did just fine Monday.
It took me a long time to clean my truck off, but the main roads still aren't that great, and the side roads, I wouldn't even try it.
Construction equipment like this were scooping up and pushing around heavy snow in business parking lots. DelDOT prioritizes Coastal Highway as a primary road. Once the agency thinks it's passable, then plows move to secondary routes. Here in Sussex County, that is roads like Route 9 and Route 24. One man from Lewis says he found himself stuck 3 times just before 9 a.m. Monday.
People should probably stay off the road for safety reasons. It's been pretty brutal last night with the high winds and everything.
With winds still whipping and snow drifting back over cleared lanes, cleanup is far from over.
And of course, as you just heard, they're still cleaning up, and it will continue to be a mess in some of these areas throughout the Mid-Atlantic and the Northeast. But as Lano Moise reported, a lot of these temperatures should break above freezing over the course of the next couple of days. That will help to melt some snow as well, especially as you see now from our satellite and radar, that a lot of the cloud cover associated with this huge bomb cyclone bringing that heavy snow to the Northeast and the Mid-Atlantic starts to pull away. The sunshine will also help to melt the snow. Now we're going to go all the way to the West Coast in California, where the state is digging out after 2 systems brought days of heavy snow and rain. Michelle Burden shows us more from south of Lake Tahoe.
It's been days of clearing snow and ice in South Lake Tahoe. Now, instead of removing it from the roads,
we're really more concerned about the melting of the snow and all of that water that's going to come from the rain combining to create flooding conditions in various parts of the city.
City crews focusing on storm drains on busy boulevards.
When the water does start flowing, it can flow into the drains and hopefully go out the way it's intended to, rather than being blocked up and not being able to go out.
Steve Tibbles using the break in the weather to get the feet of snow off his roof, preventing ice jams.
You know, there's heaters in the gutter, but the snow migrates down.
Tibbles lives in a neighborhood that sees flooding after the snow from big storms starts melting. And now rain in the forecast bringing even more challenges.
And there's no drainage. I mean, they built this house right across the fall line, and it all just runs right up to Michael and puddles up.
The city's encouraging residents to be ready. That's why they've set up 2 free sandbag stations so folks can protect their homes and businesses.
We're anticipating they will see flooding, and it's just a question of how much, not if.
And with all of the snow across the U.S. from West Coast to East Coast, let's talk about the city forecast and what to expect in terms of travel delays. As you see, most areas across Boston, New York, Philly, down into D.C., Atlanta, Dallas, Los Angeles, and Miami all seeing sunshine. Chicago seeing a pretty windy day, but that's to be expected. They're named the Windy City. But the sunshine will help to really break up some of that snow, and you see the chances for any type of precip through all of those cities anywhere from 15% or less, so a very, very low chance at best. Now, we could see some airport delays in Boston, New York City, Philadelphia, D.C., Atlanta, not Atlanta, Chicago and Dallas throughout the morning or the afternoon. Most of these cities in the Northeast, the morning delays, just because we are still cleaning up from the snow in those areas. DC could also see some afternoon delays. And of course, if we have delays in those areas, those could trickle downstream, especially in here in Norfolk, where yesterday we did have some of those areas reporting cancellations or delays to and from Norfolk International Airport. Now, as you get into Chicago and D.C., afternoon delays are possible, Dallas as well, but Atlanta, Los Angeles, and Miami seem to be good for today. Expected delays in terms of travel look to be fairly minimal for the Northeast, maybe a few minor delays as you get closer to the Great Lakes. We have some moderate to major delays around the portions of the Great Lakes, so be mindful of that today. Now, and speaking of the U.S., we're talking about the lower 48 here. Let's talk about our southernmost and furthest west state, Hawaii. Hawaii is also cleaning up after heavy rain caused flooding on certain islands. Agatha Cafone has a look at the aftermath.
Weather has been keeping people on their toes lately. Just weeks after strong winds swept across the state, heavy rain is now the main concern.
A few weeks ago, it was the wind that was very concerning. So now it's the rain that's heavy downpour.
The rain is quickly filling up parts of Oahu.
Some parts of Haleiwa that are flooding. We've got a few homes already in the Haleiwa, Wailua area that are, pretty high water.
Emergency officials say the ground is already saturated.
A lot of heavy rain came down real quick.
And all eyes are on the reservoirs.
Dam safety folks, what kind of thresholds we'll look at for evacuation? The reservoirs are filling.
The biggest concern, the Wahiawa Reservoir, with runoff pouring down from the Ko'olau.
A lot of rain, a lot of water coming down from the Ko'olaus, and of course the concern is the Wahiawa Reservoir.
It's a reminder of the devastating flood in 2021 that forced nearly 4,000 Haleiwa residents to evacuate.
The last incident was really scary because it happened a lot faster. This seems to be much more of a slow burn, and I'm hoping that it peters out soon.
For now, officials say the reservoir and spillway are holding steady, but the community remains on alert.
They've assured us that for now, the reservoir is okay, the spillway is okay, and they're just monitoring the situation. I just think that we have to be ready to leave if it comes to that eventuality.
Emergency management officials stress preparedness is key.
Preparedness is vital. The better prepared we are, we become survivors and not victims.
Leaders are also urging people to stay home and asking visitors to avoid the North Shore while conditions remain uncertain.
We don't need any more people in our community that we might have to take care of if things get worse.
Now, we've already talked about the snow from California to New York, and of course, we talked about the flooding. But coming up after our break, we're going to speak more about space. We have scientists who have solved one of our solar system's biggest mysteries. Plus, how your Tuesday is shaping up here in Hampton Roads and what to look ahead for the rest of the work week and into what should be a very pleasant weekend. Those details after the break. Welcome back. Astronomers say they may have solved one of Saturn's greatest mysteries, how the planet's largest moon came to be. The massive moon is named Titan, and after analyzing data from various sources, researchers theorize that about 500 million years ago, a lost moon collided with Titan, becoming part of it. The collision could have also led to the formation of Saturn's beautiful rings hundreds of millions of years ago. The theory will be tested several years from now using NASA's Dragonfly. The Dragonfly is a nuclear-powered car-sized rotorcraft that will fly over Titan's surface and land in different spots to collect and analyze samples. It's currently scheduled to launch in 2028 and should arrive on Titan by late 2034. That kind of gives you a look at how far away Saturn is from the U.S. if it takes, 6 years for something to launch off of the Earth and make it to the outer areas of Saturn. But that will be really cool to analyze. And for those who don't know, a lot of Saturn's outer rings are made of rocks. All of this is out of this world. And by the way, you'll want to keep your sky out of this world as you keep a look out this weekend. 6 planets will appear together on Saturday, and the most will be visible by the naked eye. If the skies are clear, you'll be able to see Mercury, Venus, Jupiter, and Saturn. Now, Uranus and Neptune will be visible if you have binoculars or you have a telescope that you can use. The best time to catch a glimpse will be about an hour and a half after sunset. Now you'll have to look west and you'll see Mercury, Venus, and Saturn near the horizon. Jupiter, Uranus, and Neptune will also be higher in the sky as well. Now, I will say, as someone who does watch the sky a lot, you can see Venus on any given day. It's called the morning star or the evening star, and it usually is right next to the moon. So if you can't get a chance to look at that and look at the planets that will all appear in the sky on Saturday, you can see Venus any given day. But it also has to do with cloud cover and light pollution. I was talking earlier on Daybreak about how being in a city like Norfolk or Virginia Beach, because we have so many buildings that adds to the light pollution, it's harder to see the stars. But I went to Western Branch over the weekend and I could see every single star. And my favorite constellation is Orion. If you see the belt, that's very easy to spot out in the sky. But also getting those apps on your phone that helps you pick out the constellation and the planets will also be helpful in that case. Back here on Earth, temperatures are going to tick back up in Hampton Roads soon, but so will our rain chances. And it has nothing to do with this nor'easter that continues to impact Canada this morning. That is long gone out of the U.S. and will no longer really impact us here in the mid-Atlantic. But you can see it's pulling away a lot of cloud cover as it moves away from the U.S. And right now, satellite and radar for us is sweeping very quiet. You would think that with the increased sunshine today, that temperatures would be warmer than yesterday, but we'll actually be struggling to hit the temperatures from yesterday as cold air continues to seep in here in Hampton Roads. So here's what I'm tracking over the course of the next few days. We do have some icy spots possible this morning as places in the eastern shore, northern neck, middle peninsula, portions of the peninsula could see some of that snow melting, and it may have refrozen overnight as temperatures drop below freezing, but we'll be right back above freezing this afternoon, so any slick spots should melt again. Now, as we get into the day, it will be chilly, but we'll have a warming midweek where temperatures will finally be back near normal. And then we have our next chance at rain on Thursday as temperatures start to rise. So will those rain chances, as I mentioned earlier. So have the umbrella for Thursday into Friday morning. We have northwest winds in the area. What that's going to do is start to pull in that cooler air today. So I even saw some feels like temperatures this morning around the teens and the lower 20s. Now we should feel more like the middle to upper 20s, but if you haven't walked out the door yet, you definitely need the heavier coat, not only this morning, but all day long. And you'll notice on our futurecast that temperatures struggle to climb. By noon today, even with sunshine, we're still in the middle to upper 30s on the south side and in the peninsulas. Around northeastern North Carolina, upper 30s to the lower 40s. Good news is winds will start to back off throughout the day today, so it won't be nearly as breezy as your Monday. We'll have a few passing high thin clouds today, but mostly sunny, with temperatures at best in the lower to middle 40s across the area, except for the eastern shore where they'll struggle to make it just above freezing. Now, these temperatures are about 10 to 15 degrees below normal for this time of year. So that's why I'm advising for you to have the heavy coat, because you will need some type of warmth all day long. Once we move into the nighttime, our winds shift from the northwest to the southwest. What this will do is start to pump in some warmer air. So tonight, temperatures will stay in the middle to upper 30s. And tomorrow, even after that cooler start, we'll have a near normal day. We should be somewhere in the mid 50s for the end of February, and we'll make that tomorrow. Highs tomorrow in the mid 50s with cloudy skies through most of the day. It's not until the afternoon that we introduce a little bit of sunshine, and then clouds start to break apart later on during the evening. That's a brief drying period before we get our next round of rain on Thursday. So here's the updated graph model showing the cloud cover sticking around for Thursday morning, but it looks like we should have a dry commute to work on Thursday, so that's good news. We get into the day on Thursday, and the rain starts to move in from south to north, so by the afternoon and evening, rain continues to push north into the peninsulas. So once you kind of get through the rain for Thursday, you may only see some spotty showers during the evening time, with peninsulas seeing the rain last, and temperatures then will still be in the middle 50s for the south side and North Carolina. You head up into the peninsulas and we'll be in the 40s. Rain continues through the peninsulas through the overnight as the system continues to push to the north. You can see these south winds pulling in some warmer air on Friday morning, but to the north of this is where they'll see the chance for snow once again for the northeast, and that is why they're preparing for yet another round of snow for the mid to late week. For us, temperatures will just be too warm to see any type of winter weather. It will be all rain, but this takes us to Friday morning. Now, we still need the rain. As I showed you over the past few days, we are in a drought here in Hampton Roads in northeastern North Carolina. We are underneath moderate drought conditions. So from now through Friday, we should pick up anywhere from maybe 1 to 2 inches of rain south side and south around the peninsulas. We can pick up maybe half an inch of rain, maybe a quarter inch. Anything will help us to really try to break through that drought, because we do need some relief from those drier conditions. Good news is, once we get through the rain for the work week, we are much drier for the weekend. So today, lower to middle 40s. Tomorrow and Wednesday and Thursday, middle 50s, but rain comes through starting during the late morning, continuing through the afternoon, and then becoming a little bit more sparse on Friday morning. But by Saturday and Sunday, I'm finally forecasting a weekend where we probably will not have a weather impact alert, where we finally will actually have a weekend that's either not brutally cold or not snowing or raining, or both. And so finally we get the chance to have partly cloudy skies, maybe an isolated shower in on both of those days, but that chance is very low. Temperatures will be in the middle to upper 50s. This Sunday is the first day of March, and so we're going to start off the March with a good note, but our next cold front comes through and cools us down on Monday as temperatures early next week fall back to the lower to middle 40s. Remember, you can always get the latest news, traffic, and weather on the go with the 13 News Now app. Scan the QR code on your screen to download the app now. You can get it for free on the Apple Store and on Google Play. Thank you so much for joining me here on the Weather Desk. Again, I'm meteorologist Taylor Stephenson, a certified broadcast meteorologist based in Norfolk, Virginia. And Hunter Force, our other meteorologist, will be joining you tomorrow on the Weather Desk to talk about the latest headlines from across the country, across the road, and right here in Hampton Roads. Have a great Tuesday, and I hope that you have a great rest of your week.